What if I told you that in the next decade, turning 60 could feel like turning 40? That your dog could live to see your kids graduate from college, and that the pharmaceutical industry is about to experience a demand surge that makes the Ozempic shortage look like a minor hiccup. These aren't science fiction fantasies anymore. We're standing at the convergence of artificial intelligence and longevity science, and the implications are staggering. According to recent economic modeling, just 1 year of healthy life extension across the entire population could add $38 trillion to the global economy. That's trillion with a T, folks. But here's what's really mind-blowing. In May 2025, researchers at Scripps published something extraordinary. When they used AI to identify anti-aging compounds and tested them in the lab, over 70% of these AI-selected drugs helped successfully extend lifespan. Moderately, but it is a start. Let me repeat that. The AI had a 70% success rate at picking winners, compared to traditional methods that typically see success rates in the single digits. Welcome to Apprentice.io's Industry Insights. I'm Frank Maggiore, and today we're diving deep into how artificial intelligence is revolutionizing longevity research and what it means for pharmaceutical manufacturing. We're not just talking about adding years to life, we're talking about adding life to years and doing it at a scale that's going to require a complete reimagining of how we manufacture these treatments. When I started in the pharmaceutical industry nearly 30 years ago, anti-aging research was relegated to the fringes, the domain of snake oil salesmen, beauty magazines, and late-night infomercials. But now, in silico medicine just completed phase 2 clinical trials for a drug that was discovered by AI, designed by AI, and targets age-related disease mechanisms that humans never would have found on their own. The drug went from AI concept to clinical candidate in just 46 days. The traditional timeline, 3 to 5 years, if you're lucky. And here's the kicker. This isn't some far-off future. This is happening right now. As we speak, over 1,300 dogs across America are taking longevity drugs in the largest veterinary clinical trial ever conducted, which is the STAY study by our friends over at Loyal. Why dogs? Well, they share our homes, our lifestyles, have enormous genetic diversity, and surprisingly, our aging patterns. They're the perfect bridge between laboratory mice and human trials. And the FDA just gave its blessing to move forward. We're going to explore how AI is cracking the code of aging, why your manufacturing execution system better be ready for what's coming, and how the convergence of these technologies is about to transform not just pharmaceutical manufacturing, but the very fabric of human society. Alright, let's start with the basics. What exactly do we mean when we talk about aging from a scientific perspective? Because it turns out, aging isn't just about getting old, it's a collection of biological processes that we can actually measure, target, and potentially reverse. Scientists have identified what they call the 12 hallmarks of aging. Think of these as the biological equivalent of a car's wear and tear. Except instead of worn brake pads and rusty undercarriages, we're talking about things like cellular senescence, mitochondrial dysfunction, and telomere shortening. I know, sexy stuff, right? But here's where it gets interesting. Each of these hallmarks isn't just something that happens to us. They're processes that can be influenced, slowed, or in some cases, reversed. It's like discovering that your car doesn't have to rust if you apply the right protective coating at the molecular level. This brings us to a critical distinction that the longevity field is obsessed with: lifespan versus health span. Lifespan is simple, how long you live, but health span, that's how long you live without chronic disease, maintaining your vitality and independence. Nobody wants to live to 120 years of age if the last 30 years are spent in declining health, filled with chronic pain, severe restrictions on lifestyle, as well as declining physical and mental capacity. We want those extra years to be good years, active years, and productive years, filled with friends and family, not nursing homes and palliative care. Enter the concept of biological age versus chronological age. Your chronological age is straightforward. How many birthdays have you had? But your biological age, that's how old your body actually is at the cellular level. And here's the mind bender. These two numbers don't have to match. Brian Johnson, a tech entrepreneur who follows meticulous, expensive, and ever-changing regimens for improving health and anti-aging, is best known for sharing his journey and ideas through various social media channels. He is well known for trying to reduce his biological age while extending his chronological age for as far as he can, using the most modern tools available. AI-powered aging clocks can now measure your biological age by analyzing everything from your DNA methylation patterns to the proteins in your blood. Some people who are chronologically 50 might have the biological age of a 35-year-old. Others might be aging faster than their calendar suggests. And once you can measure something, you can start to optimize it. This is where the polypharmacology approach comes in, and it's a complete paradigm shift. Traditional drug development has been obsessed with a one target, one drug approach. You got high blood pressure? Here's a drug that targets that specific pathway. Diabetes? Here's another single target drug. But aging doesn't work that way. It's not one thing breaking, it's multiple systems declining in concert. It's like trying to fix a symphony orchestra where half the instruments are out of tune by adjusting only one violin. You need to address multiple targets simultaneously. And speaking of paradigm shifts, let me tell you what's happening right now with our four-legged friends. Our friends over at Loyal, who we did a previous podcast on the life extension in large dogs targeting insulin like growth factor 1 or IGF-1, is running a massive clinical trial. The STAY study with over 1,300 dogs testing drugs that target metabolic aging. Now you might be thinking, why should I care about dogs living longer? Well, beside the obvious fact that dogs are awesome and more time with our furry companions improves the lives of everyone they touch. And if you disagree, we need to have a different conversation. These trials are essentially a dress rehearsal for human longevity drugs. Dogs age significantly faster than humans. We usually use the yardstick of 1 year equals 7 dog years. But it all depends on the size of the dogs. Where large dogs live 8 to 10 years, medium-sized dogs can live 10 to 15, and tiny dogs can live up to 20 years. A lot of this is mediated by IGF-1, which was bred into dogs to get them to grow large as fast as possible, but without understanding the underlying molecular mechanisms would be the same things that cause them to die earlier. Dogs also have the advantages that they share our environment, eat similar foods, they get similar age-related diseases, and unlike lab mice, they're genetically diverse. Also, there's less of an ethical issue of extending our canine companions' lifespans, where dogs are nearly universally loved. Where potentially greatly extending the lifespan of people, on the other hand, that opens up a whole lot of ethical dilemmas. Not for you, you're awesome, but people in general will see this as an inequality issue, where the rich will be able to afford such longevity treatments, leaving the rest of us to suffer with our shorter lifespans, riddled with health issues. This will particularly be the case as the industry is just getting started and the drugs need to undergo extensive clinical trials and validation to prove that they're effective. The FDA has already indicated that if these drugs can extend healthy lifespans in dogs, they're likely to approve them, which will allow for a broader and more diverse population testing once this treatment hits the broader commercial market, where we're sure to learn a lot more. Once we crack the lifespan code for dogs, humans are next. It's like beta testing your software before the full release, except these beta testers are fluffy, adorable, and occasionally steal your sandwich. Now let's talk about the real star of our show, artificial intelligence. And I don't mean the kind that writes your emails or recommends what show to binge next. I'm talking about deep learning systems that can see patterns in biological data that would take human researchers literally millennia to discover. Imagine you're trying to solve a jigsaw puzzle, but it's not just one puzzle, it's thousands of puzzles, all mixed together. Some pieces are missing, some don't even belong to any puzzle. And oh, by the way, the picture keeps changing. That's what understanding aging is like. Now imagine you have a super intelligent assistant that can look at all the pieces simultaneously, recognize patterns across different puzzles, and even predict what the missing pieces should look like. That's artificial intelligence and longevity research. The technical term for this is multi-omics analysis. And yes, I know that sounds like something from a sci-fi movie, but stick with me. We're talking about AI systems that can simultaneously analyze your genome, your DNA blueprint, your proteome, all the proteins your body makes, your microbiome, the ecosystem of bacteria in your gut, your metabolome, the small molecules floating around, and even your exposome, everything you've been exposed to in your environment. Each of these ohms, and there are more of them, trust me, generates massive amounts of data. A single human genome, that's about 3 billion base pairs of information. Your proteome, hundreds of thousands of different proteins, each changing in real time. Your microbiome, there are more bacterial cells in your body than human cells. They just happen to be much smaller, but the effect of that ecosystem and billions of proteins that they produce provides an intricate dance of molecules interacting with your body and influencing all sorts of health outcomes. Trying to understand how all of these interact to drive aging would be like trying to understand the entire internet by reading one web page at a time. But AI doesn't just analyze this data, it generates new possibilities. We're seeing generative AI systems that can design entirely new molecules from scratch. Imagine telling an AI, I need a molecule that can cross the blood-brain barrier, has a half-life of 12 hours, targets these 3 aging pathways simultaneously, and won't interact badly with common medications. The AI doesn't just search a database, it creates new molecular structures that have never existed before. It's like having a master chef who can invent new recipes by understanding the fundamental chemistry of flavors, except instead of making a souffle, it's designing drugs that could add decades to your healthy lifespan. But it's not just about eliminating certain proteins and calling it a day. IGF-1, which is being targeted in the loyal dog studies, is a hormone that regulates both growth and wound healing. For large dogs, they produce large quantities of IGF-1, which helps them to grow bigger, but results in accelerated aging later in life. Humans also have IGF-1, which are conserved in mammals, and studies have shown that centenarians, people living past 100 years of age, have lower IGF-1 levels on average compared to the rest of the population. But is it correlation or causation? A smaller person may have a lower body weight, therefore less cells, and a lower statistical probability of someone twice the body weight for having a mutation that causes cancer cells to arise. In addition, trying to eliminate all IGF-1 in a person's body could potentially result in longer lifespans, but it serves a dual role in wound healing, and we want to be sure that doesn't result in patients that are now unable to heal wounds as a result of injury. So any AI program looking to develop a longevity treatment regimen will need to consider all these factors and how they work together in an incredibly complex dance of molecules that hold together human health and keep us alive. In silico medicine demonstrated this beautifully. Their AI system designed and synthesized a novel drug candidate in just 46 days. But here's the really clever part. The AI didn't just design the molecule, it also predicted which patients would respond best to it, what side effects to watch for, and even suggested the optimal clinical trial design. It's like having a crystal ball, except the crystal ball has a PhD in everything. And then there's in silico modeling, basically testing drugs in virtual humans before they ever touch a real person. These digital twins can simulate how a drug would move through your body, how it will interact with your unique genetic makeup, how it might affect someone who's 25 versus someone who's 75. We can run thousands of virtual clinical trials in the time it takes to recruit patients for one real one. It's like having a time machine that lets you see the results of your experiment before you even start it. Although, unlike actual time machines, these actually exist and don't create time paradoxes that would make physicists cry. The data convergence happening right now is unprecedented. We're not just looking at your medical records or your lab results. AI is integrating data from your wearables, from your grocery purchases, from your environmental sensors, and even from social media patterns. Yes, your Twitter usage might predict your biological age better than you think. Every data point is a piece of the aging puzzle, and AI is the only thing capable of putting it all together. It's finding connections that seem absurd until you see the data, like how the bacteria in your gut might influence your mental health, or how your sleep patterns at age 40 could predict your cognitive health at age 70. Okay, so we've got this incredibly powerful AI technology, but here's where the rubber really meets the road. Or should I say, where the mRNA meets the ribosome. The speed at which AI is accelerating longevity research is absolutely bonkers. Traditional drug discovery is like archaeology. You carefully dig through millions of compounds, hoping to find that one golden artifact that might work. It typically takes 10 to 15 years and costs over $1 billion to bring a single drug to market. The failure rate, about 90%. Those aren't odds you take in Vegas. But AI is changing the game entirely. You're seeing timeline compressions of 60 to 80% and success rates that would make a baseball player jealous. Remember that script study I mentioned? 70% success rate in identifying effective anti-aging compounds. That's not just an improvement, that's a revolution. Now, none of these compounds individually alter the course of human longevity research, but cumulatively, they are small steps in the right direction. Let me give you a concrete example that should make every pharmaceutical executive sit up straight. In silico medicine took their AI platform and pointed it at idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, a nasty age-related lung disease. The AI identified a novel target that humans had never associated with the disease, designed a completely new molecule to hit that target, and optimized it for human use. The result? A drug called INS-018-055 that just completed phase 2A clinical trials. But here's the kicker. When they analyzed this drug against the hallmarks of aging, it didn't just help with lung fibrosis. It showed activity against 6 different aging mechanisms. It's like aiming for one target and hitting 6 others you didn't even know were there. Try doing that without AI. This multi-target approach is the secret sauce. Think about current blockbuster drugs like Ozempic. It was originally designed for diabetes, but surprise, it also helps with weight loss, cardiovascular disease, and potentially even addiction and neurodegeneration. That's the power of hitting multiple biological pathways simultaneously, and AI is exponentially better at finding these multi-target drugs than humans could ever be. The personalization potential is equally game-changing. We're moving from one-size-fits-all medicine to this drug is literally designed for your body medicine. AI can look at your genetic profile, your current health status, your lifestyle factors, and predict not just whether a longevity intervention will work for you, but exactly how well it will work and what dose you'll need. Imagine walking into your doctor's office and instead of getting the same prescription as everyone else your age, you get a treatment plan that's been optimized by AI specifically for your biology. It's like having a suit tailored versus buying one off the rack, except the suit might add 10 to 20 healthy years to your life. And here's something that should blow your mind. AI is finding aging connections that completely overturn conventional wisdom. For instance, AI analysis revealed that certain proteins we thought were harmful in aging might actually be protective in specific contexts, or that some genetic variants associated with disease might actually promote longevity if you have the right combination of other genes. It's like discovering that the villain in the movie was actually the hero all along, except the movie is your biology and the plot twist could save your life. These are insights that would have taken decades of traditional research to uncover if we would have ever found them at all. Alright, we need to talk about the elephant in the room. All of these amazing AI discoveries and longevity breakthroughs mean absolutely nothing if we can't manufacture them at scale. And I'm here to tell you, we are fully unprepared for what's coming next. Let me paint you a picture. Remember the Ozempic shortage? When a diabetes drug suddenly became the hottest weight loss treatment, demand increased by over 300% practically overnight. Novo Nordisk, a company with decades of manufacturing experience and deep pockets, simply couldn't keep up. They acquired Catalent for $16.5 billion for additional final filling capacity and are spending billions more globally to expand overall production capacity. Eli Lilly is spending more than $50 billion since 2020 to expand their overall capacity just to compete. Now imagine that scenario, but instead of one drug for diabetes and weight loss, we're talking about multiple longevity drugs that everyone wants. Not just sick people, healthy people who want to stay that way. We're talking about a potential market of, just about every adult on the planet. No pressure, right? The name of the game is going to be capacity, capacity, capacity. There is not enough manufacturing capacity in the entire world right now to help support such a game-changing drug. A lot of pharmaceutical manufacturing capacity was built up during the COVID-19 pandemic to get final filled, sterile syringes and vials out the door. This capacity was eaten up, by anti-obesity medication production. Now if you threw anti-aging into the mix, even more capacity would need to come online to help support it. Contract manufacturing organizations, CMOs, would need to pick up more of that slack, and they would need to over-leverage their businesses to invest in further capacity expansions as quickly as possible. This is where cloud-based manufacturing execution systems like Apprentice.io's Tempo Manufacturing Cloud become absolutely critical. And MES would be needed to make the most out of existing manufacturing capacity, to be able to transfer processes to other locations around the world, and to interface with CMOs for tech transfer, method transfer, and management of your processes taking place at another entity. The Tempo Manufacturing Cloud is built for this exact challenge. It's cloud native, which means it can scale up or down instantly. Imagine you suddenly need to 10x your production because, surprise, everyone wants to live longer. With traditional systems, you're looking at months or years of implementation. With a cloud-based system, you could scale it in weeks. But it's not just about scale, it's about complexity. Longevity drugs aren't likely to be small molecule treatments like manufacturing aspirin. They're most likely to be complex biologics, cell therapies, or even gene therapies. Therapeutics that are highly complex are grown in bioreactors, require multiple purification and aseptic final filling steps, all with specialized equipment. Manufacturing them requires orchestrating hundreds of steps, tracking thousands of parameters, and maintaining perfect quality control. One deviation, and you might turn a life-extending drug into an expensive placebo, or worse. Tempo's real-time orchestration capabilities mean you can coordinate everything from your raw material suppliers to your CMOs to your quality systems, all in one platform. It's like having a conductor who can see every musician in the orchestra, hear every note, and adjust in real time to keep everyone in perfect harmony. And here's where it gets really interesting. AI-powered production optimization. The same AI that's discovering these drugs can optimize how we make them. Tempo MES can predict bottlenecks before they happen, optimize batch scheduling, even suggest process improvements based on real-time data analysis. Let me give you a concrete example. Say you're manufacturing a longevity drug that requires a specific cell culture process. Traditional systems would run the process, hope for the best, and analyze the results afterwards. Tempo's AI can monitor thousands of parameters in real time: temperature, pH, dissolved oxygen, metabolite levels, and make micro adjustments to optimize yield and quality. It's like having a master chef who can taste the soup every millisecond and adjust the seasoning in real time. Except the soup is a multi-billion-dollar drug, and the seasoning is incredibly complex biochemistry. The digital twin capability is another game changer. Before you commit to a production run, you can simulate the entire process virtually. What happens if supplier A is late? What if demand suddenly triples? What if there's a quality issue in batch 47? You can test out all those scenarios without wasting a single molecule of actual product. And let's talk about the connected manufacturing network. In the longevity drug world, you're not just dealing with one facility. You might have cell collection in California, gene modification in Switzerland, expansion in Singapore, and fill finish in New Jersey. Trying to coordinate all that with emails and spreadsheets? Good luck. Tempo MES creates a single source of truth across your entire network. Everyone sees the same data, works from the same batch records, follows the same quality protocols. It's like giving everyone X-ray vision into their entire manufacturing process, no matter where they are in the world. The GLP-1 shortage taught us valuable lessons. Demand for longevity interventions can explode faster than traditional manufacturing can adapt. We're not going to get a second chance at this when the longevity revolution truly kicks off, and based on what I'm seeing, we're talking years, not decades. We need manufacturing systems that can scale as fast as the science is advancing. Now let's talk about what's happening right now. Because folks, the future isn't coming, it's already here. And the public's appetite for anti-aging treatments are enormous. To start, the GLP-1 revolution is our preview of coming attractions. These drugs, Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, weren't designed as longevity drugs. They were meant to treat diabetes. But something fascinating happened. People taking them didn't just lose weight or control blood sugar better. They showed reduced risk of heart disease, stroke, kidney disease, possibly even Alzheimer's. We're seeing inflammatory markers drop, cellular stress resistance improve, and metabolic health optimize in new ways that directly impact aging. Novo Nordisk was a mid-sized European pharmaceutical company known for social ethics and good governance that found themselves in the middle of spectacular growth that they didn't plan for or envision. They are the dog that caught the proverbial car. It's like they accidentally discovered the fountain of youth while looking for better diabetes treatments. Oops, best mistake ever. The market went absolutely bananas. We're talking about projected market values between $75 and $140 billion by 2030. And that's just for drugs that tangentially affect aging. Imagine what happens when we have drugs specifically designed to target aging itself. The real breakthrough that has me excited is what's happening with our canine companions. Loyal Stay Study, and can we appreciate that name for a second, now has over 1,300 dogs enrolled across 70 veterinary clinics. For an animal health-focused clinical trial, that's huge. The FDA has already given preliminary approval for their drug LOY-002, which targets metabolic aging. Think about what this means. We're about to have real-world data on a longevity drug in a large mammal that shares our environment and many of our age-related diseases. Dogs are basically doing us a solid by beta testing longevity drugs. Good boys indeed. But here's what's really cooking in the labs. AI is identifying existing drugs with hidden longevity benefits. This is called drug repurposing, and it's like finding out drugs we already approved can be used individually or in collaboration with other drugs to provide the desired effects without needing to approve all new drugs. Metformin, a diabetes drug that's been around since the 1950s, is now in clinical trials as an anti-aging drug. Rapamycin, an immune suppressant, extends lifespan in every organism it's been tested on. Even some blood pressure medications are showing longevity benefits. AI is scanning through thousands of existing drugs, finding these hidden gems exponentially faster than traditional research ever could. The cellular reprogramming advances are straight out of science fiction. We're talking about literally reversing biological age at the cellular level. Researchers are using AI to optimize protocols that can take cells from a 60-year-old and reprogram it to behave significantly younger. It's like finding a cellular Control-Z button. And the biomarker breakthroughs? Chef's kiss. We now have AI-discovered markers that can predict your health span with significantly better accuracy. These aren't just academic exercises. Companies are using these biomarkers to track whether their longevity interventions are actually working in real time. Clinical trials are exploding. They've got studies on NAD+ boosters, senolytic drugs that clear out zombie cells, drugs targeting specific hallmarks of aging, and combination therapies that hit multiple pathways simultaneously. The pipeline isn't just full, it's overflowing. AgeXtend, an AI platform from IIT Delhi, is identifying geroprotectors, substances that slow aging with unprecedented accuracy. It's not just finding them, it's predicting their safety, identifying target proteins, and even suggesting optimal combinations. It's like having a longevity drug discovery factory running 24/7. Alright, time to bust out the crystal ball. Although honestly, with AI's predictive capabilities, it's more like a crystal supercomputer. Let's talk about what's coming down the pike. In the near term, we're talking 2025 to 2027. Buckle up. The first wave of AI-designed longevity drugs will start clinical trials. I'm not talking about repurposed drugs or supplements. I'm talking about molecules that were conceived by AI, designed by AI, and optimized by AI to specifically target aging. Loyal's dog longevity drugs will likely be approved by the end of 2025, start of 2026. Once dog owners see Fluffy start seeing noticeable differences in their dog's health spans and lifestyles, the demand for human versions will be overwhelming. And both interest and money will flow into similar human clinical trials. But these trials won't be as short as the current dog studies. They will likely take much longer, possibly a decade or more, to get some decent data on validating the therapeutic methodology. But when a new drug treatment eventually does pass clinical trials, the manufacturing surge is gonna be insane. We're not prepared for the 100x demand increase, but that's what's coming. Every pharmaceutical company that isn't already investing in scalable, cloud-based manufacturing execution systems is gonna be scrambling. It'll be like Black Friday, but instead of fighting over TVs, we'll be fighting over bioreactor capacity. Pharmaceutical mergers and acquisitions will take off. CMOs will be purchased for enormous valuations, and other less profitable drugs will be pushed to the side, affecting large swaths of the patient communities. We'll see longevity as a service platforms to spread the cost of such treatments over the course of the patient's life. Something like a Netflix for longevity, if you will. Are you still aging? Click here to continue. Imagine subscribing to a service that continuously monitors your biological age, adjusts your intervention protocol in real time, and provides personalized supplements or medications based on your current biological state. If further developments are made in cell and gene therapies, we can see the convergence of cellular reprogramming, AI, and precision medicine. Imagine going to a clinic, getting a few billion of your cells reprogrammed to a younger state, and then having them infused. It's like getting a biological oil change, except instead of oil, it's your actual youth being restored. The economic models will have to completely transform. Our entire society is built on the assumption that people work for 40 years and then retire for 20. What happens when people are healthy and productive for 80 years? Do we have multiple careers, multiple retirements? Do you get to pursue that artistic interpretive dance career at the age of 95? Pension systems, insurance models, healthcare systems, everything will need to be reimagined. The World Economic Forum is already freaking out about this, and they should be. We're not just adding years, we're fundamentally restructuring human society. But here's the ethical frontier we need to navigate carefully. Unfortunately, until generics are available, profits are likely to be maximized and longevity will be treated as a luxury good. If only the wealthy can afford to live longer, healthier lives, we're looking at further social inequality that makes current disparities look quaint. This is where cloud-based manufacturing becomes not just important, but morally imperative. We need systems that can scale production to make these treatments accessible globally. Apprentice.io's Tempo Manufacturing Cloud, with its ability to coordinate distributed manufacturing and optimize cost, isn't just a business tool, it's a democratization engine. Looking further out, we're entering true science fiction territory, except it'll be science fact. AI systems that can predict and prevent diseases decades before symptoms appear. Nanobots circulating in your bloodstream, continuously repairing damage at the molecular level. Organs that can be 3D printed or grown from your own cells, ready to transplant whenever needed. These replacement parts can be swapped out whenever the functionality drops below optimal levels, just like going to a car mechanic and getting new parts installed. Do we run into a ship of Theseus issue where we keep replacing the parts of the body so often that we wonder if we really are the same person anymore, or an amalgamation of all the technology to keep us alive and extend our life further? The concept of maximum human lifespan might become obsolete. This is not immortality. Let's not get carried away. You could still die from accidents and reckless behaviors, but the potential for maximizing healthy human lifespans up to 120 years and maybe beyond, that's certainly within the realm of possibility. The only question is when. We've covered a lot of ground today, from AI-designed molecules to manufacturing revolutions to dogs living their best lives for longer. Let's bring this all home. We're witnessing a fundamental paradigm shift. For all of human history, aging has been inevitable, like taxes, but with more wrinkles. Now, for the first time, we're treating aging not as destiny, but as a complex biological process that can be understood, slowed, and potentially reversed. The three pillars making this possible are converging right before our eyes. First, AI innovation that can decode biological complexity at superhuman speeds. Second, scalable manufacturing systems that can turn these discoveries into actual treatments. And third, an evolving regulatory environment that's beginning to recognize aging itself as a treatable condition. None of these pillars can stand alone. The best AI discoveries mean nothing if we can't manufacture them. The best manufacturing systems are useless without breakthrough drugs to produce. And neither matters if regulators won't approve them. It's a three-legged stool. We need all three legs to be strong. This is where platforms like Apprentice.io's Tempo Manufacturing Cloud become critical infrastructure for the longevity revolution. It's not just about making drugs, it's about making them fast enough, cheap enough, and at sufficient scale to meet unprecedented demand. We're not preparing for a market, we're preparing for a transformation of human civilization. And here's my message of hope. We're close enough now that this isn't theoretical anymore. Dogs are literally taking longevity drugs as we speak. Humans are in clinical trials. AI is discovering new interventions daily. The manufacturing infrastructure is being built. The science is accelerating exponentially. Your grandchildren might never experience aging the way you do. Hell, you might not experience aging the way your parents did. We're not just adding years to life, we're adding life to years. Imagine being 80 with the vitality of 50. Imagine prevalent chronic diseases of heart attacks, strokes, diabetes, and cancer becoming historical footnotes like polio or smallpox. So here's my call to action for everyone in pharmaceutical manufacturing. The longevity revolution is coming. It's time to prepare. Every day you wait to modernize your manufacturing systems is another day you fall further behind. The companies that invest in scalable, AI-powered, cloud-based manufacturing now will be the ones delivering life-extending treatments to billions of people. This isn't just about business opportunities, although they're massive. This is about being part of the most important transformation in human history. We're talking about defeating humanity's oldest enemy, aging itself. Get your manufacturing execution systems ready. Invest in AI capabilities. Build partnerships with longevity biotechs. Train your teams on complex biologics and cell therapies, because when the dam breaks, and it's already cracking, the demand tsunami will make every previous pharmaceutical boom look like a ripple in a puddle. The question isn't whether we'll extend human health span. That train has left the station. The question is how quickly we can scale these solutions to benefit not just the wealthy few, but for all of humanity. The tools are here, the science is accelerating, and with platforms like manufacturing execution systems, we're ready to manufacture the future of human longevity at the scale the world desperately needs. We're not just manufacturing drugs anymore, folks. We're manufacturing extra decades of healthy, productive, joyful human life. In an industry where precision and compliance are paramount, Apprentice's Tempo platform offers a cutting-edge manufacturing execution system solution. It's cloud-based, mobile-first, operator-centric, with the most intuitive UI in the industry, making it perfect for today's dynamic pharmaceutical manufacturing environments and for the production of the world's most complex drug products. Whether you're working on groundbreaking cell and gene therapies, biologics, or small molecules, Tempo provides a fully validated MES system that's both powerful and easy to use. It streamlines your processes, ensures compliance, and adapts to your specific manufacturing needs. So get off of paper batch records and discover how Apprentice's Tempo Manufacturing Cloud can transform your operations by visiting us at apprentice.io. Attention industry professionals, revolutionize your manufacturing process with the Apprentice Tempo Manufacturing Cloud, a manufacturing execution system built to streamline your operations, boost efficiency, and ensure compliance all in one powerful platform. Experience the future of manufacturing with our free 30-day trial. Scan the QR code on your screen now to unlock a world of innovation. Don't just keep pace, set the tempo as an industry leader with Apprentice. That's all for Apprentice.io's Industry Insights. I'm Frank Maggiore. Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for notifications when new episodes drop. Please comment on if you have any additional topics you would like for me to cover in this space, and we'll see you next week for more Industry Insights.